again, friends. Today we're just going to read out our response to the literally thousands of requests for more information on what we can do lawfully about all of the unlawfulness, the criminal legislation and such like that's going on all around the world. We know what we're talking about. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to read this out to you. Ideally, I'll have already done a live Facebook video of this, and we're doing this second one now so that we can put the text in for everyone to read it, to make sure that it's nice and clear what this is all about. Very simply, guys, here in Ireland, and you can do it as well in your own country, but here in Ireland we have raised what we call an asseveration. Don't worry, it'll all make sense in a minute, okay? An asseveration, a legal document which proves that the government legislation regarding the global crisis is a fallacy. It's not just a fallacy, but it's a fraudulent fallacy, and they know that. Papers have been served on them multiple times. They've been given many opportunities to either clarify or rebut or disprove what we've been saying. They've repeatedly refused to do so. And in law, there is a legal maxim. Now, this means it's an overriding principle. And the principle is that if you refuse to communicate with someone when you ought to, when you're given repeat opportunities to take a particular action and you fail or refuse to do so, then your consent is implied. So without further ado now, guys, I'll read this to you. We've set up a web page to match this. If you go on the Integrity Ireland website and go to the COVID related page, you'll see here COVID passes. This is what you're looking for. Certainly everybody in Ireland now, you've got no excuse anymore, guys. You want to do something about it, here's the opportunity for you to do so. And I hope that people around the world will pick up on this idea and reproduce it under your own laws and legislation in your own country. All you have to do is find out where they've lied, identify it, send reports into the government and give them an opportunity to clarify. And when they don't, away you go. All right, guys, here we go. First of all, the text of the pass itself. Now, this is the larger version. What we're going to do, guys, I'll pop it up here on the side so you can see it more clearly. We have also done business card size ones and medium sized ones. So you just take your pick. They'll all be up there on the website. Just click download. Yes, it is in yellow for a reason. It is, first of all, because I don't think it's coincidental that all of the COVID signage is also in this alarming yellow colour, and it corresponds also with the historical tragedy that happened during the Second World War, when certain people were forced to wear yellow insignia to show that they were lesser mortals than the rest of us, and it was okay to exterminate them. You all know what we're talking about, guys. So here we go. This is what the pass says. It's very simple, guys. This is to confirm that I, the undersigned, subscribe to asseveration number 020, which acquired the force of law on October the 12th, 2021, as approved and issued on October the 25th, 2021, which said asseveration states and declares, according to law and under the rule of law, and then there are 3 points, guys, on the pass. Number 1, the grounding clause in the recital of the Health Preservation and Protection and Other Emergency Measures in the Public Interest Act 2020 is a false and fraudulently misleading statement. Number 2, as such, it is both voidable and void ab initio, which means void from its beginnings, and therefore cannot carry the weight of law nor give rise to any dependent legislation, rules, regulations, or legally enforceable guidelines. And number 3, any person, please listen carefully, guys, any person who knowingly facilitates, complies with, or enforces the said void legislation in knowledge that it has now been rendered lawfully void and invalid, commits an unlawful and possibly a criminal act. And then what you do, guys, is you sign it at the bottom. I've laminated this, of course. This is a larger one. I'll keep it in my briefcase or something. And there are smaller ones around this size here to match, guys, that you'll find up on the web page. Now, obviously, the ones on the web page, you know, they're in black and white because it's easier to photocopy and all that. But I suggest you get yourself a little bit of coloured card or coloured paper and put them on here so that we're all working on the same theme. You know, the idea of the COVID legislation is all bright yellow and alarming. Our passes are also bright yellow and convincing. Okay, so I'll just read the instructions and then that's all it is for today, guys. We've got other things to say, but we'll do that in another video. So these Integrity Ireland passes have been created for you so that those in the pro-justice, pro-truth, pro-transparency movement and anybody else in Ireland who has the insight, the moral courage and the will to challenge the criminality going on can lawfully protect themselves from unlawful legislation. So if you print out, sign, cut out and fold at the arrows, etc., etc., you will have 3 business card size passes that can be laminated and carried around with you. You might also consider something that we're doing, guys. We're going to order business cards with these phrases on front and back. Okay, carry literally a pocket full of them, and anywhere you go, as you give them to people, you sign them yourself and you hand them over. You know, you might also consider ordering your own business cards using this template so that you can distribute these passes to others to use, or just hand them out as replicas of your original laminated passes. Now, guys, common sense here, all right? Not a magic wand, but it's the beginning of one. Now, please pay attention. You will at first be confronted, obstructed, challenged, dismissed, or ignored by the establishment and by those who service them, that is, the guards, the police, security personnel, etc. But please hold your ground. Demand that a guard or a policeman comes to qualify which position has lawful precedence. Number 1, the deceptive and therefore unlawful lies of the establishment, as explained on asseveration number 020, or 2, the truths, evidence and empirical proofs which have been formally and repeatedly served on the government that explain how the respective legislation is based upon a massive lie, which the government has since conceded, QTC, meaning silence implies consent, that there is in fact no actual genuine pandemic other than a plandemic of fear, lies and intimidation, contrived and manipulated for devious, nefarious and sinister purposes, and that asseveration number 020 is therefore a true and lawful assessment of the situation, which carries both the weight of truth and the force of law, as explained in asseveration number 001. Asseveration number 020 therefore completely and absolutely nullifies the referred to COVID-19 legislation, and any person who fails or refuses to respect that asseveration is committing a de facto unlawful act. And then there's links to more information, guys. Again, keeping it short and simple, guys. Please reflect on this. I hope that people all around the world will pick up on this idea. It's very, very simple, guys. There isn't a court in any country in the world who can tell you that if you know something is unlawful or is indeed criminal, that you have to do it, that you have to comply with it. There isn't a court anywhere. And the whole point I'm making here is that the establishment is not going to challenge us on this. They can't, because if they dare to do so, it opens up a Pandora's box, and the very least that we can expect is that the lies will be flushed out. And when the lies are flushed out, more people will wake up, and maybe, just maybe, we can put a stop to this madness. And a couple of clarifications on how we can use these passes and these asseverations, guys. As we said before, not exactly a magic wand. The Red Sea isn't going to part and allow you to just wander into each place. But what we can do is, first of all, if everybody who is ready to do something about this, as opposed to sitting back and waiting for others to do it, and I've got to say this quite frankly, guys, and no disrespect to anybody out there, there will be some people who can or can't do things, or some will be more capable, more willing. But the plain fact of the matter is, if you do nothing, you are siding with those that we are calling the diabolicals now and their sinister plans. Okay, guys? So here's what you can do. First of all, you print out asseveration number 1 and photocopy it. Now, you can sign it yourself if you like. You can leave it unsigned. It doesn't really matter. But what we will be doing is passing these out to, for example, local businesses. Now, you've got to understand, guys, these notices have already been served on the government multiple times, or at least the preambles to these notices. We fulfill the law. Now, it's their law, okay? So when you get people coming on, trolls and the like, and even highly qualified legal trolls coming on and trying to make a nonsense of this idea, please understand, guys, this is because they are terrified of it. They have no answer to this whatsoever, because we're the ones who are abiding by the law. We're not making up law, we're just using their laws, the same laws that they've been imposing upon us and tricking us into believing are consistent across the board. We're simply using their law to show that what they're doing is not just unlawful, but indeed criminal, by all of the definitions that you would like to use for that. So, if you print out asseveration number 020, okay, links here, you take, I mean, I keep, 100 of these in the car, and every time that I'm stopping somewhere, or as soon as anyone shows the least bit of interest, you hand it to them. It's just information after all. But once they have read it, they are then in the fortunate position, if they're a local business owner, such as a friend of mine who complained how much business he was having to turn away, well, he doesn't have to turn a business away anymore, because these passes, and combined with the asseveration that they come from, lawfully allow any business owners or any other agent or agency or corporation, anybody at all that you're dealing with, they can now lawfully allow access to their premises, to their services, to people who would otherwise be exempted from getting access to those premises under the fraudulent legislation. I hope I've made that nice and clear, guys. There's no need for any confrontation on the streets. We just start by getting the information out there, make everybody aware that the original Health Act 2020 is fraudulent, fundamentally fraudulent, and therefore has no power under the law, and that these passes and asseverations correct that fraud, they correct that flaw in the legalities of what's going on, and give us all the freedom to take back our power and authority. And don't forget, guys, there's no court in this land, and indeed anywhere across the world, if you do this properly, there's no court can argue with what we're doing. It's not us making up law, not at all. It's completely the opposite. We are using law that's already written down in black and white, etched into stone, if you like. We're not inventing anything new here. All we're doing is sticking rigidly by the law, their laws, that they're trying to falsely impose upon us. We're using the same laws, and actually more superior laws, to eliminate the lies and the frauds that they're trying to foist upon us. So have confidence, guys, that when you do serve these notices on local businesses or anything, they are then in a position where they can either lawfully allow you to come in and participate, or they are risking possibly legal action. And again, I'm not promoting this now, guys. I'm not promoting that anyone should be doing this, except perhaps with the most hostile of people who would, actively discriminate against us and do so in an aggressive and hostile manner. If they choose to do that, then we now have the opportunity to actually take an action against them, which will force out the lies again, all right? Because think about it, if this action then goes to the guards or it goes to the courts are forced to deal with it. And I'm telling you now, guys, they will not be able to deal with these asseverations or these passes lawfully. All right. Now, we've had plenty of experience of judges getting up unlawfully, exiting their courtrooms, reading out unlawful judgments, fostering perjuries and frauds and the like. We've got plenty of experience of that. But if you think about it again, if we make a big job of publicizing these passes and these asseverations, people are going to wake up and start asking the necessary questions. Well, is this really fraudulent legislation that they're trying to challenge? And is this a solution to it? And why then are we all participating in this massive fraud? Okay, guys, this is the way we're going to do it. And finally, guys, a big thank you to the people behind this new concept. It's called a Vax Injury Database. Okay, now the establishment, the state, or various countries around the world, they do have reporting systems that are supposed to inform us, the public, about the adverse effects of injectables and the like, or medical treatments. Okay, that's what they're there for. But we are facing this fundamental problem that the establishment, by and large, seems to be in cahoots with, let's just say, major international corporations who do not have our best interests at heart. So also on the Integrity Ireland website, guys, please go and have a look. Again, I'm being careful about the language I use. I want it to be clear to anybody who might be fact-checking or may have objections to what we're saying or doing, to please understand this is all about the truth. It's all about documenting and collecting the truth and sharing it with people, so as we all have a choice. Do I side with the truth or do I side with the lies? So thanks to those who invited us to help them launch and set up this injury database. You can get access to it from the Integrity Ireland website, and I would encourage everyone as much as possible to please do so, because that is a thoroughly independent source, absolutely to be trusted, and it's there for your information. And not forgetting, of course, guys, the book Crisis Colour Coup, which is largely behind all of these initiatives. It's not just a book about the current circumstances we all find ourselves in, but it is an explanation of the phenomenon of human evil. We all have to understand it, guys. If we don't, we haven't a hope in hell, and there's no pun intended there, of getting out of this mess until we start to understand what it's all about. Anyway, I'm very grateful to those of you who have already purchased copies. It's been flying up and down now. It's been up at #1 in its category now 3 times at least in the past week or so. And this is very, very encouraging, because we also talk about some of these very tactics, about the idea of using asseverations and public passes and the like, to collectively empower all of us to do the right thing. Thanks again for listening, guys. Please continue to educate yourself about what's going on, so that we can all of the good ones amongst us, can genuinely help each other. Thank you.